Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Screw Toy action figure review. And just to clear the air, yes, I have been gone for a couple of weeks now. I haven't posted anything on YouTube or Instagram. I've just been really busy with work and life, but finally have a minute to sit down and talk about these figures here in front of us. These are the Beyond Amazing 60-year line that the Marvel Legends team is calling it to celebrate the 60th anniversary of Spider-Man. And I have some mixed feelings about these figures, man. So we'll go, one by one and talk about them, about the things that I do like and the things that I don't like. But yeah, let's start off with this Spider-Man right here. Here we have the reverse costume of the future Foundation Spider-Man. And honestly, man, as soon as I opened up this figure, I was very unimpressed and underwhelmed. I actually ended up giving this figure to my brother, and he enjoys it. So, at least it went to a good cost, and this figure didn't just go in a bin somewhere. That's why I'm not showing you any of the accessories that he comes with, because my brother already lost them somewhere in his room. But he did come with a pair of flipping hands. Unfortunately, he did not come with a pair of wall crawling hands, which is very frustrating. We tell the Marvel Legends team that every Spider-Man should come with a pair of fists, whips, and wall crawling hands, but he didn't. Besides the lack of accessories, which he came with, again, I think a pair of whip hands and a pair of those webs that we've been getting with Spider-Man for over 10 years now, and they're horrible. Besides the accessories, this figure has really spotty paint apps. As you can see, it's just very poorly done. You can see some on the hips right there, kind of just, again, being very spotty. I'm not a big fan of the paint scheme on this figure. He does have pins. Again, I don't know why they chose this body mode. They went with an older body mode. I believe this is the Sunfire body mode, where he clearly has pins on the limbs right there that don't correspond with the paint scheme. So the pins are black and the inner bicep is white. So that stands out. And then the biggest crime of this figure is this right here, the pins being white and the legs being black on the inner thighs. So just not a big fan of this figure, man. They should have really used the new Spider-Man Renew Your Vows 2-pack body mode, but they went with this one, which, again, not a big fan of. I've said this over and over again, and I will say later on in the review with the rest of the figures, I think that waist swivels are really outdated and really ugly. They just break up your figure too much, where I'm just not a big fan. So overall, this figure is not great. He is pretty much a simple repaint that they just threw out there to kind of half-ass, doing this line. But yeah, not gonna go over the articulation. I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with the Sunfire body mode. But yeah, this figure, not good. Now getting a quick look at the Iron Spider and his accessories. He does come with a pair of fists and a set of the whipping hands. And here we have the Iron Spider. And honestly, another disappointing figure in my opinion. This figure, man, is just not good. I don't care what anybody says, this figure is not good. Starting off, he doesn't come with a pair of wall crawling hands. Another big pet peeve of this figure. Actually, my biggest pet peeve of this figure is that he didn't come with wall crawling hands. No, actually, I'll take that back. It's my second biggest pet peeve. My first pet peeve is, again, putting this figure in a very outdated body articulation scheme. Ab crunch and waist swivel is my biggest complaint about this figure. Again, it should have been a diaphragm cut. It should have been a waist swivel. I've heard people say that the reason they gave him an ab crunch and not a diaphragm cut is because of these legs, and I'll call bullshit, because I believe the Superior Octopus did have legs, obviously not as big as these, but they were still a fair size, and he had a diaphragm cut. So this dude should have definitely been on a better body scheme. The butterfly joints are shitty. They're not that great. And then other than that, this figure, man, is just, I wish I loved this figure a lot more. This figure was casted in a red plastic that's supposed to look metallic. It doesn't. It looks maroon. It looks shitty. It looks cheap. The gold paint is actually not that bad. It's actually a nice gold paint. But then the legs, man, they went and did the legs in a cheap yellow mustard plastic that just looks cheap. This figure overall looks very cheap. It looks, this is not a $30+ figure at all. And I've defended Hasbro over and over again, but the price keeps going up and the quality of the figures keep getting half-assed, man. And it's really disappointing, as Marvel Legends was one of my favorite lines. It's what actually started my addiction to collecting action figures. And yeah, they're honestly going down and down. Just not getting the satisfaction out of them like I used to. But this figure, man, very disappointing. I just wish I liked him a lot better. But getting a quick look at the articulation, his head is on a ball and hinge, which I don't like. I wish it was on a dumbbell joint. I don't like the hinge right there. But it does give him the ability to look very high mount up and down. No head pivoting. His arms are on ball joints, and he can hit a very nice T-pose. He does have bicep swivel. He is pinless, so I do appreciate that. So you can hit a very nice double jointed pose right there. As you can see, he does have articulation at the wrist to hinge up and down and rotate a full 360. Ab crunch, that does crunch a great amount in and a decent amount back. He does have that waist swivel, which I hate. He does have upper thigh cuts, double pinless knees. Again, I do appreciate the pinless. And there you go, get a good amount in. And then he does have boot rotation right there at the, I guess, shin guard. And then his feet do hinge up, back, and he does have pecos at the bottom of his feet. Now getting a quick look at the Ned and Peter Parker 2-pack from Spider-Man Homecoming. Ned comes with this nice little wristwatch and a pair of open palmed hands. And that's all the pair of hands that he comes with. He doesn't come with a pair of fists or anything else. I wish he would have came with at least a fist and a gripping hand, but nope, this is all we get. Now, Ned does come with two different head portraits. This first one being just a neutral, smiling Ned. And I feel like this looks 100% like the actor that plays him. I believe his name is Jacob something. I can't remember his name at the top of my head. But I think it looks very accurate to what we see on screen, man. And yeah, it looks pretty dope. And the second head sculpt that he does come with is probably my favorite accessory out of this whole 2-pack. It's a masked Ned Leeds head sculpt that I think it's from the scene where he's in the room with Peter and he puts the mask over his head and he goes badass. So I really do enjoy this, man. It's very funny. It's just very comedic, and it's going to stand out on your shelf if you have him like this. I think I'll just have him with the regular Ned Leeds head sculpt, but this one is a very nice inclusion. And the last accessory that he does come with is this camo backpack. Now, Peter Parker does come with a backpack as well, except it's tan and a lot smaller than Ned Leeds' backpack, but it's also very nice. For hands, Peter does come with slightly open palmed hands and a set of fists. He also does come with a little brown book that he holds fairly well in one of his open palmed hands, and it's just a brown piece of plastic with no paint or deco on it. I do have a little, I guess, where the plastic was injected into the mold, the little notch right there where they rip it off. It is a little bit glaring, a little bit just ugly. I don't like it, but again, this book is probably going to go in a container and I'm never going to pick it up again. Peter does come with two different head sculpts. This first one being a very neutral and just stoic looking head sculpt where he doesn't really have any emotion in his face. But I feel like this is the best head sculpt of Tom Holland that the Marvel Legends team has ever made. I think it's almost spot on. It's perfect. It looks like him. That's the main thing, that it looks like him. I feel like every other head sculpt they made of him, it just doesn't look like him. Unfortunately, the second head sculpt does not look like him. So let's get a closer look at that. And here's the second head sculpt. And like I said, it doesn't look like him. I get what they were going for, but they didn't nail it, man. I don't know what it is that's slightly off about it, but kind of looks like a mixture of the PS4 Peter Parker mixed with, I don't know, maybe his little brother, his younger brother in real life. I don't know, man. It's just, yeah, the likeness is not there, but you know, it's still a pretty decent head sculpt. Now getting a quick look at the actual figures themselves. Like I said before, this Ned Leeds figure is pretty spot on to what he looks like in the films and in real life. He is just a pretty much, I don't want to say glorified statue, because he does have some decent articulation in him. He's pretty static right here in the torso area, and it's just because of this rubber overlay. But overall, he does look fairly nice. Again, the head sculpt looks good. The deco on the shirt looks good, and the tan t-shirt over his, the tan button-up shirt over his t-shirt looks really nice as well. I really think they did a good job with the paint. There's no bleeding over. There's no other paint seeping through. The pants look nice. I believe these are new legs, if I can get it to focus on the pants and not Peter. The legs, I believe, are brand new. I believe this whole figure is brand new, actually. But the legs do look nice. You can see all those wrinkles, seams, and just a whole bunch of, detail on those pants. The cuff at the bottom looks good. The shoes, I believe, are new as well. I believe those are supposed to be, I want to say Asics, if I'm not mistaken. But they look nice. The backpack again, there goes Peter. Backpack again, we looked at. It looks nice. It's just a camel deco backpack. I'm not sure if we've seen this backpack before. We might have, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, man, pretty solid figure overall. It does look good. The paint on him looks nice. Move Peter out the way. The paint does look nice. Yeah, it looked good, man. But yeah, let's get a quick look at his articulation. He is on a ball and hinge, so he can look up. Not much, because that hair kind of runs into the collar back there. He does look down a fair amount, actually a great amount. So you can kind of bury the chin right there. He gets no real head pivoting. His arms are on a ball joint, but just the shape of him is kind of awkward. So you can get a T-pose, but then you can kind of start seeing some skin color right there. But it's all right. His arms are on a single hinge, and you can bend in 90 degrees, and then he does have hinges on his wrist and hinge up and down and rotate a full 360. Again, you're not going to get any articulation from the torso, which is unfortunate, but his legs are on a upper thigh swivel right there, so he can swivel there nicely. He does have double pinless knees that bend in a great amount. He can actually kick his own ass, which is pretty great. And then his feet are on hinges that hinge a decent amount forward, a decent amount back. He does have ankle pivot with pegals at the bottom of his feet. Now getting a quick look at Peter. This is the highlight of the 2-pack in my opinion. Again, that head sculpt looks just like Tom Holland, the best one yet from the Marvel Legends team. I really love the body, the way they set the articulation on this body. He has a diaphragm cut right there, which I love. And then he is completely pinless, which is great. I've seen a lot of people say that their knees don't match the rest of their pants, but mine actually looks pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, mine looks pretty good. But yeah, man, overall, great figure. I believe this is 100% brand new as well. The shirt is nicely textured. It's not just flat plastic. It's actually textured. I don't know how well it's coming off on camera, but as you can see, it has some texture. It has all these nice wrinkles molded onto it. The arms as well. The legs, again, are brand new. Those pants look nice. The texture on them is nice. It's, you know, they're not flat plastic, like I said. I love this little detail right here with the undershirt kind of sticking out over the little sweater that he's wearing. The shoes, I think these are reused. I believe these aren't new. The backpack looks nice. As you can see, he does have those pockets sculpted back there on his butt. The hair looks good. Yeah, man, very solid figure. Again, I really love this figure quite a bit. Now, articulation-wise, he does have a diaphragm cut, so let's look at that first. It's actually very nice. You can see pivots very nice at the sides. Good amount forward, good amount back. His head is on a dumbbell joint, and his neck piece is a separate piece that plugs into the body, so I love that. This is import-style articulation. I love this. They need to do this. I've said this over and over again. I believe the first time they did this was with Red Skull from the Bring on the Bad Guys wave. They did that, and it wasn't that great because it was one of the first times they did it. But right here, man, shit, oh, not popping his head off. It works great, man. I'm popping his head on. Give me 1 second. Wow. There we go. It works great, man. I mean, like, he can look a decent amount up. He can look down a great amount. And then he gets great head pivoting. So that's very nice. His arms are on ball joints. No butterfly joint, unfortunately, but he can hit very nice T-pose. He does have upper bicep swivel, double pinless elbows that bend in a great amount. His hands are on hinges that hinge up and down and rotate a full 360. And then again, we went over the torso already. He doesn't have any waist swivel, which is weird. And he doesn't have a ball joint down there. So very odd that they didn't include that. But his legs do have upper thigh cuts, double jointed knees. And then his feet are on hinges that hinge this much forward, that much back. And he does have great ankle pivot with pegals at the bottom of his feet. And here we have the Spider-Man and Spinneret 2-pack. And now let's get a quick look at their accessories and everything they came with. Spinneret does come with a pair of fists, a pair of whipping hands, and would you look at that, a pair of wall crawling hands. If any character out of this whole line deserved not to have wall crawling hands, it would have been this figure, and it should have gone to Iron Spider or the reverse, what's it called, Future Foundation Spider-Man. I don't know what Hasbro's thinking, man, but hey, at least she does come with wall crawling hands, so I guess that's a plus. But yeah, she does come with wall crawling hands. She also does come with two different head sculpts. This first one being a masked Mary Jane head sculpt, which I'm not a big fan of. I don't know what it is about the teeth that really bother me. I think it makes it look like she has a super humongous overbite that just looks really goofy. So I'm not a big fan of this head sculpt. I wish they would have just gave her a neutral head sculpt instead of this smiling one. But it's all right, overall. It does have very nice hair sculpt, a very nice mask, and it looks okay. But she also does come with an unmasked Mary Jane head sculpt, which does look really nice. I feel like they did do the photo real tech on this one, which looks really good. Again, we've seen this before with the Spider-Man 2-pack Mary Jane, and then it came packed in with the Gwen Stacy figure from the retro line, the first Spider-Man retro line. So again, nothing new, but it does look nice. Spider-Man does come with a pair of wall crawling hands, which very grateful to have. That's with the original retro Spider-Man from the 2022 retro carded line. What's sorely missing was a pair of wall crawling hands, so very happy that they included them here. And he also does come with a pair of fists, and lastly a pair of whipping hands. Now Spider-Man does come with two different head sculpts, this first one being a masked Spider-Man head sculpt. And I said this about this figure in one of my posts, I believe it was my Instagram post, or one that I made to the community tab on my YouTube. I feel like the Marvel Legends team never does a normal proportion looking head for any other Spider-Man figures, man. I feel like something's always off. Something's always weirdly proportioned. Like they're either too small or their like nose and mouth area are always too long or elongated. I don't know. There's something always off about Spider-Man head sculpts with the Marvel Legends team. And can't pinpoint it, but something's always off. And this figure right here isn't any better, but it is a decent head sculpt. And then we get an unmasked Peter Parker head sculpt that we've seen before. I believe this originally came with the Mary Jane and Spider-Man 2-pack from Toys R Us. And then it came with the Black Symbiote Spider-Man with the Craven and the Craven 2-pack, the Target exclusive one. And here we get it again, except this time around it does have photoreal tech on this head sculpt. And it looks good, man. It looks a little bit more natural, a little bit more realistic compared to the goofiness that the painted head sculpts used to have. But yeah, looks good. And here we have the Spider-Man in Spinneret. And let's get a quick look at Spinneret herself, because we've seen this figure before, man. It's the same body mold that we've seen these last couple of times from any of the female figures Marvel Legends has given us. This is just the Shriek body mold, obviously repainted to be Spinneret. The head sculpt again, man, I'm not a big fan of it. It looks alright. It's okay. The paint apps look really good. Nice deco, clean, crisp, and no messiness or QC issues on mine, thankfully. But yeah, man, overall, she's just okay. I mean, it's mostly just red and white, as you can see. Her little booties right there look nice. Oop, dropping her. Little booties look nice. The shoes look good. But overall, just an okay figure. The back, you could see that does come with those two big ass peg holes, which I'm not sure why they decided to go that route. But again, man, yeah, just okay. Quick look at articulation. Her head is on a ball and hinge, and it is very stiff, as you can see. So getting it like that, it does look all the way up. Then you get that big gap right there. It does look a decent amount down, and it does have a little bit of head pivoting in there, but nothing too crazy. She does have ball jointed shoulders that move a great amount up. Bicep swivel, because these are the new Shriek arms. Double pinless elbows that again are very nice and come from the Shriek figure. Hinges on her hands that hinge up and down and rotate a full 360. She does have a diaphragm cut that pivots this much this side, not much forward, and a lot further back, but then you get gabbage. And this is why I dislike this figure. It's because of this torso. This torso is very outdated. We've gotten it numerous of times, man, and very outdated. I don't know why the Marvel Legends team doesn't give us a new torso. It's time for us to have a new torso for these female figures. Mostly why I skip a lot of the Marvel Legends female figures, because their torso sucks. But she does have upper thigh cuts, double pinless knees that do bend in a great amount, and then she does have hinges on her feet that go this much forward, that much back, and she does have great ankle pivot with pegals at the bottom of her feet. Now, Spider-Man. Oh, man, this figure, Pretty good, man. Very, very little complaints. Again, my biggest complaint is that head sculpt. I feel like they're always, again, oddly proportioned, but it's not horrible, but it's just a little odd. There's something always off. Maybe it's the jawline. I don't know. It's something. Something bothers me about Spider-Man head sculpts with Marvel Legends, but overall, this figure looks nice, man. Other than the head sculpt being kind of odd, and then the spider logo right there on the chest being a little too big, this figure is everything that the retro Spider-Man from 2020 did, but better. He is pinless. It's about time we get pinless tech on our Spider-Man figures. The paint finish on this figure is amazing. Under bright lights, it kind of does look a little shiny, but this figure is very matte, which I've always criticized with Marvel Legends figures. Especially figures that are what's it called, wearing like cloth costumes. They always have a very, very shiny finish to them, and it doesn't look realistic, man. It's cloth. It's not supposed to be shiny. And this one is very matte, so I really do like that. But getting a closer look, the lines are very crisp and clean. Have very, very minor QC issues where some chipping occurred here and here, and that was just straight out of the packaging, so that is a little bit unfortunate. But getting a quick look at him, I mean, it is Spider-Man, man. It's just another Spider-Man. The logo on the back does look nice. Again, on that retro body with new limbs. So getting a quick look at his articulation, he can look up this much, but then it gets gappy. He can look down that much, which is a decent amount, and then he does get some decent head pivoting. Not the greatest, but decent. His arms are on ball joints, and they move up a great amount. Hit a very nice T-pose. He does have upper bicep swivel, double pinless arms, about time. He does have a butterfly joint that just kind of shifts back and forth, doesn't really move back and forth, just shifts a little bit. He does have hinged hands that hinge up and down and rotate a full 360. Diaphragm cut that pivots this much to this side, this much to that side, this much forward, that much back, and then he does have a lower ab crunch. With those two together, he can crunch a great amount forward and a great amount back. He does have drop down hips that move just the slightest down, not the biggest amount of drop down, but decent amount. With those, he can kick this much forward and not much back. He does have upper thigh cuts, double pinless knees. He does have boot rotation right there, and then his feet hinge this much forward, that much back, and he does have toe articulation. And here are all the figures together next to each other. And as you can see, man, none of these Spider-Mans are the exact same height. So again, I don't know why they didn't use this figure with this height, build, and articulation scheme, as well as this one. I don't know why they didn't just use it on this brand new body. It's beyond me, man. But again, I wish I liked a lot of these figures a lot more. I'm ranking the ones that I have here in front of me from favorite to least favorite. My favorite is going to be this Peter Parker, which is crazy. I didn't expect to like him this much. And then it's going to be Ned Leeds. I really like this Ned. So this 2-pack right here, man, was my favorite out of all these figures here in front of me. Not a big MCU Marvel Legends collector, but these two I just had to get because they look so good. Next is going to be this Spider-Man right here. And then it's going to be this Iron Spider, and then Spinneret, and then this fool right here. Not a big fan of this figure. Not a big fan of this figure. Not a big fan of Spinneret. So 3 out of 6 I enjoyed. 3 out of 6 I disliked very much. So again, this line so far has been okay. I do have Doc Ock and Silk coming pretty soon. I believe it's supposed to be here within this week. So maybe I'll review it. Maybe I won't. I don't know. But so far, just an okay line for the 60th anniversary of Spider-Man. I know we're getting the Null and Venom 2-pack very soon. I know a lot of people have been getting that from Amazon here in the US already. I don't know when mine's going to ship, but that Venom looks very, very good, man. I can't wait to get my hands on that Venom figure. And then what else are we supposed to get? We're supposed to get the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends 3-pack, which comes with another Spider-Man that looks really nice. We're supposed to get that cel-shaded Spider-Man from Walmart very soon, as well as that Lizard. I'm very, very excited about that Lizard. Can't wait to have that one. And then we're supposed to get a whole bunch of other figures that I just can't think off the top of my head right now. But overall, so far, just a decent line, man. But yeah, it's been all right, man. But don't have much other than that to say. So make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on all my social medias. I have a TikTok, I have an Instagram, I have a Twitter. The links to all those are going to be in the description down below. And I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.